A very good morning to everyone. Welcome to Global Online. And here, uh, in this particular session, we are starting with the preparation for starting with the preparation for December 2023 examination, wherein we'll be seeing the first unit, that is teaching aptitude. And this is an introductory lecture which will be taken by me, that is Dr. Triptii. Let me announce you that yes, for the upcoming examination, that is for December 2023 examination, we are going to start regular batches, okay, which are going to come soon. That is, tentative dates will be 1st of July, wherein we will be taking every unit. Every unit subtopics will be discussed, theory concepts will be cleared, and these concepts will be cleared as per the latest analysis of June 2023 cycle. And later on, we will be going with MCQs, practice questions, previous year question papers. In previous year question papers, we will be going with a reverse order. So you will understand that from June 2023, what are the paper pattern coming up, what type of questions are being, coming up, how the paper pattern has been updated continuously. So all these concepts will be clear to you for your December 2023 examination to definitely ensure that you are joining the course very well. We'll be coming up with all the courses for you all, with the packages, with the fees also. At the same time, we also have Global Online app. You can see this is the app which you can download with the help of Google Play Store. This is what the interface of the app is. There are various courses which are organized for your December 2023 examination in the form of a complete course, in the form of crash course, in the form of revision courses. So once you download the app, you will be seeing all the syllabus, which is systematically organized unit wise. Every unit consists of various concepts, videos, based on the concepts, yes, MCQ test, regular test. So this all will be possible once you registered and download the app. If you are having any difficulty for the same, you can get in touch with us on the given WhatsApp number. You can just ping us on the WhatsApp number in order to get the details of the app. At the same time, if you are looking for study material for paper 2, so right now we are having a discount offer going on. So if you are studying any of these paper 2 subjects, okay, which are listed on the screen, you can see the paper 2 subjects which are on the screen. So please ensure that, if you want MCQs and notes for these paper 2, you can get in contact with us. The fee package is rupees 1600, but right now we have kept a 20% off. So the fees for paper 2 is 1280. In order to avail your copy of fees price, you can get in touch with us on these given WhatsApp number to avail your own copy. At the same time, if any difficulty, you can get in touch with us. So now let's start with the session. Let's understand what are the theory concepts. This is a small introductory lecture which we will be seeing right now. And based on these, we will be taking the topics on daily basis. So let's start with the today's lecture, where we are going to understand the syllabus, where we are going to understand a small concept of teaching aptitude well. Greeting to all the students. Welcome to Global Online. Now, Global Online has brought a demo lecture for paper 1, wherein we will be seeing this demo lecture for the unit first, that is teaching aptitude. Before we start with our session as the lecture, we will first try to understand the entire syllabus of teaching aptitude, which will give you an idea of important topics. Yes, these topics, I'm not saying these topics are very important. I'm just trying to say that in every cycle, the questions are from these topics are sure. I've also given the number of sessions which we will be requiring for each subtopic. So starting with this first subtopic, that is in teaching aptitude, the first subtopic is teaching, where we will be understanding the concepts of teaching, where we'll be learning the objectives of teaching, where we'll also see the levels of teaching. Now, as per the syllabus, there are 3 levels, that is memory level, understanding level, and reflective level, including the characteristics and basic requirements. So this particular subtopic will be we will be covering this topic into 2 sessions. Coming to the next subtopic is learners' characteristics, where we will see the characteristics of adolescent and adult learners. Now, these characteristics are
including academic, social, emotional, and cognitive characteristics. Along with that, we will also see the topic of individual differences, which will be again requiring 2 sessions to complete the topic. Then we have the third subtopic, that is factors affecting teaching related to teacher, learner, support material, instructional facilities, as well as learning environment and institution, covering the topic into 2 sessions. Now, when we are this particular question, that is factors affecting teaching related to. Now, we have seen these questions, in the statement and assertion reasoning form of question. So we have to focus a lot in the conceptual part, so that if any type of question in twist and turn comes, you should be able to answer the question. Then we have next is methods of teaching in institutions of higher education, that is teacher centered versus learner centered methods. We'll understand what is the focus for each of these method and what are they important for. We also have offline versus online methods, wherein we have Swayam Prabha moves, etc., which will require another 3 sessions to cover the topic. Now, we have seen in fact, in 2022 paper also, we have seen in detail questions, either it was on Swayam or Swayam Prabha, or it was on moves. Then coming to the next subtopic, that is the teaching support system, where we'll have traditional, modern, and ICT based teaching, which will be covering or requiring 3 sessions. And lastly, we have evaluation system, where we have types of evaluation in choice based credit system in higher education, including computer based testing and innovations in evaluation system. A total of 3 sessions will be required. So if you see the total number of sessions which will be required to complete teaching aptitude, total sessions will be 15 sessions, which will be which is a must in order to complete the syllabus, that is of teaching aptitude, just exclusively the unit of teaching aptitude. So let's little bit understand in detail how this particular concepts, or how, what type of topics based on the conceptual part you can expect in your examination. So the first topic is concept of teaching. Now, directly on concept of teaching, there is no direct question. Like, for example, we have various scholars who have defined the concept of teaching. Like, for example, see the first concept, which is brought up by H.C. Morrison, who said that teaching is an intimate contact between a more mature person and a less mature person, which is designed to further the education of the later. So basically, what is teaching? In Match the Following, you'll get that who has brought up this concept, that it is a relationship between a mature and a less mature person. That is, more mature personality is considered as teacher over here. The less mature personality is considered as student over here. So this relationship has been brought up or defined by whom? So this type of question you will get, definitely it is defined by Morrison. Coming to John, according to John, teaching is an arrangement and manipulation of a situation in which there are gaps and obstructions which an individual has to seek to overcome, and he will be learning in the due course of time. It means in the course of doing so, he will learn how to reduce the gaps. Now, like, for example, every teacher is and a student relationship is definitely new. Every teacher has to create that bond, that atmosphere, that network, in order to ensure that the teacher inculcates a desire to learn in the student. But in this process, there will be definitely too many gaps and obstructions, and these gaps and obstructions has to be reduced in order to in order to learn the process or to get the education, and that is given by John Brochabat. So that is basically one of the concept of teaching listed. Another by B.O. Smith, he said that teaching isn't so action intended to produce learning. So teaching isn't what? It is an action oriented activity which is required in order to produce what? Which is required to produce learning. Now, according to Burton, teaching is a simulation, guidance, direction, and encouragement of learning. So basically, it is nothing but a process which encourages learning. So now you will definitely know in the Match the Following, or maybe in the statement questions, you may get any of these scholars, and you have to identify what the scholars have stated with respect to teaching. Then we have summarized this in the form of characteristics, or you can also use the word as attributes, characteristics, or features, or nature of learning. So let's understand. I have specifically certain statements I have made bold so that it remembers you. Especially this are seen as a statement questions or assertion and reasoning questions. So let's go to the first characteristics, that teaching is a social phenomena, complex social phenomena. See, teaching is definitely not an easy job. It is an activity which is complex, but it is a social activity which is influenced by social factors, and these social factors are dynamic in nature and not static. Therefore, teaching is not a fundamental concept. Okay, it is a concept which has to have lots of innovations and creativity in order to make sure that it sustains or retains in this dynamic process. For to do so, it requires certain amount of skill set and logic. So it is also called as an art and science. Art is called, it is an exercise of having the skills in order to understand the talent within the students, to bring out creativity. And it is nothing but this has to be done in the form of a good amount of technique or procedure or skills, but it should be in the systematic way, and hence it is called as what? It is called as science. It is a professional activity. You need to have professionalism, wherein it involves teacher and students, and that involvement should result in the development or growth of the student. So it is one of the professional activity with a positive outcome. Teaching is what teacher does with a student for focusing the student to learn something. So it is to create a willingness or desire in the students to learn, and this requires system of actions. That is, these actions are related to what? The students behavior, which definitely are, prevailing the social and the physical conditions. So there are a lot of factors which are involved in order to bring out a positive outcome through this activity. Now, teaching can be observed, analyzed, and assessed with the help of teacher's behavior, pupil interaction with the teacher, that is, students' interaction with the teacher, and the changes brought in the behavior of the student. So it's a process where the interaction takes place, but the interaction has to come up with a result, and this result has to be, seen in the behavioral change of a student, where you can see an overall development, you can see modification of the behavior, and all this is an actual outcome of teaching. Teaching is highly dominated by communication skills. Yes. So there is one question in previous year question paper also, that how teaching what type of communication skills, that is in classroom communication, teacher is supposed to be expressed in what form? Teacher has to have which type of communication skills? So teacher needs to have an empathetic skills. It means a skill to understand the student, a skills to provide an inclusive education, so that each and every child who should be, should definitely get what he deserves in the form of what? In the form of the better education. It's an interactive process which is carried out with a specific objective. It is a process, okay, teaching is a process which has formal and informal teaching. The teaching done at school is at formal level. The teaching done at family level, okay, or within the friends is an informal teaching. But it results into what? Into certain remedial formation or informational. It means it will definitely result into some corrections or remedies for the problem. Teaching is a specialized task and may be taken as a set of competent skills, the skills which are required or must for, for teaching process. And that skills is nothing but a set of instructional objectives. So objectives in the form of instructions which are delivered to the students in order to make sure that the teaching happens with the competent skills. Okay, so these again in this, as I said, in this topic, you will definitely have the statement questions or assertion and reasoning questions. So you have to read it very, very carefully on your own also once. And every point you need to put a question to yourself. Okay, how can you expect a question to come, and how can you expect an answer to be, the correct answer for that specific question? Coming next is your general principles. Now, see, we have the topic called as magazines of teaching also, the specific principles. But before that, let's go through the general principles of teaching. So, principles of teaching are definitely, they are, they are basically for goals, and there is a purpose. Teaching as a purpose. So there is a goal and objective. Planning is must. Without planning, teaching cannot be it cannot be a systematic activity. Yes, teaching requires flexibility and elasticity. Teachers as well as student, okay, they need to have adaptability, they need to have flexibility and not rigidity in the process of teaching and learning. Yes, utilization of past experience based on which teacher can come up with a point and can take the students' knowledge ahead. It should be, at a basic level, it should be student centered. It should have a principle of making provision for individual differences, differences which can be in the form of social environment, it can be in the form of uh, so physical environment, it can be in the form of genetic environment. So that also has to be considered when you're dealing with the students. Linking with actual life, yes, the teaching has to have a social impact. Teaching always should make sure that teacher should always make sure that teaching has a social impact. So it should be linked with the social actual life. Correlating with all the other subject, there has to be inter relation between different subjects. When you learn a language, the language needs to have, a relation with either a mathematics or a history or a geography subject, and that is must. Effective strategies and instructional material so that it becomes easier for the students to understand the concepts even later. Active participation and involvement of teacher as well as students. Yes, conducive environment is required. When we talk about conducive environment, a supportive environment and a control is also must in order to have what? In order to have the best principles of teaching. So we studied these are the general principles. Apart from this, we also have psychological principles, which are with the impact of mental perception. That is motivation and interest. Without this, sometimes, yes, even the teacher or the student will require this. Repetition and exercise just to enhance the recalling part. Change, rest, and recreation just to increase the productivity of the child's mind. Feedback and reinforcement, yes, in the form of, positive or a negative. So student doing it positively should be appreciated to do much better. Student doing negatively should be ensured that, he gets a punishment as to know the consequences so that he won't repeat it for the next time. Sympathy and cooperation wherever needed. Every time, the teacher has to have some sympathetic behavior towards the child. Training and yes, providing training and senses, utilizing the group dynamics, the group team spirit part. Encouraging self-learning or to become self-initiator and self-starter so that the child can take the things on his own, and it becomes easier for the child to have reflective learning, to go with reflective learning. Principle of fostering creativity and self-expression, that is to bring innovation and self-expressing, and the remedial teaching, very very important. This will help the child as well a teacher to understand the root cause problem and to solve the problem. Next we have is the objectives. So in general, based on which you get a question is objectives. There has to be desired change, there has to be modification, the teacher has to shape the behavior. Acquisition of the knowledge, teacher definitely, teacher needs to, a teacher has to ensure that there is an acquisition of knowledge with respect to what? With respect to the child. Improve the learning skills of students. Okay, then this basically to learning skills of students, it means that to enhance the skills, make the child, make the child bring more closer to the learning process. Formation of a belief, that is indoctrination, is also important to provide a social and efficient make a child a social and efficient member of a society, that is a civilian. And the goals, these are the objectives, and goal is teaching which brings change in the behavior of the student. Yes, helps to improve the skills, that is in the form of conditioning. Training, shaping the behavior. Instruction in the form of acquisition of knowledge. Indoctrination, that is formation of belief. So even this particular slide, you have to be very careful with respect to match the column. So the concept of teaching and how the various modes can be matched properly. This is what we have the first demo lecture as. Yes, in the coming sessions, we will be taking in detail the teaching aptitude and will understanding the topics, getting it related with the questions that also we will be doing in detail. So thank you everyone for listening to this demo class. Thank you everyone. Have a good day.